Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of The Human Side of Marketing. I'm your co-host, Chris Angel, here with your host, Kurt Stockwell. Hello, Kurt.
Hey, Chris. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm excited to. We're in a very dark mood today. We're going to kill stuff. We're killing things.
Right. It's almost Halloween. We should have thought this through a little better and broadcast this or put this out on our email for the week before Halloween. But it's just before Halloween, and we're recording this next episode. So.
And we're killing it. We're killing newsletters. So we want to talk about why do we want to kill your newsletter? Well, we're not talking about killing it like crushing it. We're talking about killing it like get rid of it.
Right.
And so we want to unpack that for you today. So what made you think of this in the first place?
Well, I've actually been reading a lot of articles and opinions of recent experts in marketing.
Yeah.
And the topic of the newsletter kind of keeps coming up. And the topic usually kind of relates around killing your newsletter or getting rid of your newsletter. So I kind of pin this one to the board for the week before Halloween to kill your newsletter. Maybe we need to put a little audio in right now. James, put a little audio in. Okay, there we go. So we're killing our newsletter today.
Nice. I like it because it's funny because I still see this a lot where it'll say like, you know, the little button on the website is join our newsletter, or, you know, like, hey, the call to action in their show or the ad they spent money on a postcard or an ad, and it said, you know, join our newsletter. And there's just no value in joining the newsletter. Nobody wants to join your newsletter.
Right. And yeah, I would say that newsletters have become unattractive and void of meaning, and people are seeing little value in them. And okay, what I mean by that is this. Maybe you have a newsletter and you're really proud of it. But I bet if you started asking around, hey, would you want to join my newsletter? Hey, I've got a newsletter. You know, is that something you're interested in? Or you've been on another website where they've said, join our newsletter. Yeah. And I bet you have gone, I'm probably not going to join the newsletter, because the fear is that I'm going to be just served a bunch of junk, because the term newsletter and the process of providing a newsletter has just become boring.
Yeah.
I was asking my wife last night, hey, this is a topic I'm going to be working on for the show. Do you ever sign up for newsletters? And she's like, no. I'm like, why don't you sign up for newsletters? She's like, well, because usually they're just kind of garbage. So, you know.
Yeah. And if you unpack garbage, like you can really get into what we mean. Like garbage is not relevant. Like it doesn't do anything for me, because most newsletters just talk about random stuff.
Right. Now, I will digress and say there are some newsletters that are relevant, a very specific tribe of people or group of people that have asked to have specific updates on maybe like a very specific topic. You know, those newsletters can be a little bit, maybe you're a part of a board or you're part of some sort of a group. And those newsletters are actual things that you need to dig into and read, but you're not reading them for your leisure. I bet you money you're not.
Yeah. I think, okay, so like you're talking about like technical things that I would need to know, like compliance issues or different things that come through that I need to read.
Yeah, there are some businesses out there or some organizations out there who have a newsletter that's probably relevant, but I bet you that's a very small percentage of people.
Well, that's the word you just used, is relevant. It's relevant. Like the thing that distinguishes good email from bad email, I don't care if you call it a newsletter or anything else, but what makes it good is that it's relevant and there's context for why I want to read this.
Right. And, you know, here's the thing. Newsletters have historically become a way for businesses to kind of have the humble brag about their internal achievements. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if people can't identify why you winning that award or why your office party that you're sending in, you know, you're showing pictures of, what does that have to do with solving my problem? We talk about all the time. As a business, what problem are you solving? If you're not clear about what problem you're solving, people are probably not listening to you. And they're especially not reading your newsletter, because they're like, yeah, I don't have time for this. And good for you that you had a party and you won an award, but I'm moving on.
So good. Yeah, no, I know. I think part of the problem too is, as business people, we think, well, I know I'm supposed to be like, you know, front and center, like my name needs to be in their inbox so they remember me. Yeah. But what do I say? So I guess it will just, hey, you know, assistant or somebody put the newsletter together because we're supposed to do it. So there's never any like this may not be you listening to this, but so sometimes we don't know what to say.
Right.
And so that's why there's no value.
And I bet you most newsletters are put together by just that person that you said, the person in the office who kind of stand around looking like they're bored. Hey, put the newsletter together. So it's one of those checking the box things. I'm checking the box of having a newsletter because I'm supposed to, because I'm supposed to have to be in front of people, because we're supposed to be keeping our name out in the marketplace. So we're going to put together a crappy newsletter. We check the box. Yay for us. But we say around here all the time, just because you threw a dart at the wall and then drew a bullseye around it doesn't mean you hit the mark. And that's, I think, what a lot of times happens with these newsletters. We're taking that strategy towards hitting the mark. And again, it's just more noise. You're being noisy in the marketplace. And to rise above that noise, like you said, it has to be relevant. So how do we make things that are relevant? Now, the knee-jerk reaction that you would get maybe to the newsletters don't work is email marketing doesn't work. But that's not true.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly where I was going to go. I was just thinking, like, email is still very personal. I think it's why people get offended that they get spammed. It's because they didn't want that in their inbox. It's like I get a lot of emails from people, and here, actually, this is really good because I think there are people that will email me every day, and that feels like a lot. And we're not advocating now that you listening to this should send emails every day. But here's the point I want to make was I will get emails every day from the same person and it annoys me. And I'll get emails every day from somebody else and it doesn't annoy me.
Right.
Seth Godin. I get Seth Godin's email every day.
My guy, Seth.
Yep. It doesn't annoy me. Why? Because of relationship. Seth always has something valuable to say that causes me to think and adds value to my life. And the other person just wants to sell me something.
Right. So if you think about what your strategy should be for sending out anything is how can I market with people and not at them?
I love that. It's so good.
You're marketing. If you're not marketing, you're not marketing for everyone. Your message is not for everyone. Your message is for the people who care. So that email that you're getting that you are annoyed with, there's probably somebody out there who loves it.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it truly is a really bad email. But there's probably people out there. You and I love Seth Godin, but there's probably people out there like, oh, that Seth Godin guy sends me way too many emails. I'm not.
Probably.
He's not. They're not part of his quote unquote tribe. His group that want to hear his message.
Yeah.
You serve we as business owners, you as running an organization or whatever hustle you're doing, you're serving a group of people who if they don't trust you yet, they want to trust you because they recognize you as being some sort of an expert or an authority in a certain topic, and they're asking for you to provide value, to educate, to bring something that's relevant. So that really needs to be the goal. If you're just trying to check a box of I need to get something in front of people, then take the time and invest your time into understanding what that should be. And really what that comes down to, again, we say it all the time, what's your product? What problem is your product solving? People don't buy products businesses sell products for external reasons. People buy products for internal reasons. Right. They buy products that are solving their problem.
Yep.
So I think a lot of times really crappy newsletters are just because people are lazy.
Yeah.
Don't take the time to really understand what problem they're solving. They're probably great companies who have great products and are doing great things.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine the ROI they'd get from their list if their list actually engaged because the content they sent was super valuable? I think one of the things to look at here is if you're not, so on your website, because this is what you guys are so good at doing. If you build out a website, then have something that invites people to opt in for something they'd actually want to opt in for, not your newsletter, but if you sell, well, you guys do this all the time. People can schedule a time to talk to you about their website through the Clarify My Website. And you guys also do clarifying of marketing. You guys do these different services that are free. And if people wanted that, they're going to opt in for, hey, help me with this.
Right.
And then your nurture sequence over time has more to do with that. Hey, last time when we spoke, here's the thing. But if you want to take your website to the next level, here's something else you can do. And that's the email. It's not a newsletter about Well-Dressed Walrus. Right. It's how do you help your website get better?
Right. So it's really rethinking the purpose of what you're trying to do with this newsletter thing. Maybe you're thinking, well, we need to do something. And you do. You need to nurture the relationship with the people who care about your product.
Yes.
Now, I'll bet you that you have a list of maybe, let's say you have a list of 1,000 people that you put that email, that newsletter out to, and it's the humble brag about your company.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you if you sent real value to 200 people who were really caring about your product, they're your tribe, they're your people, your sales would go up.
Yeah.
You get more ROI sending an email to 200 people with real value than you would 1,000 people with a humble brag about your company.
Yeah. Right. Right. And if you're going to ask for a sale, ask for it in a way that is helpful, where you're marketing for people, not at them. You're saying, well, look, I mean, can we just be transparent, Kurt? Like, part of you offering a conversation with people to clarify their website, like that's the beginning of if there's finding out if there's a way that you could actually help their website become better. And that would result in a sale for you, but it would also result in them having a website with more ROI. It's a win-win.
Right, exactly. And, honestly, in full disclosure, the whole reason why we're doing this podcast is to hopefully nurture relationships with people who, when they're ready to buy, they'll go, hey, those guys over at Well-Dressed Walrus really provide a lot of value in what they're pushing out every 2 weeks with this podcast, asking for nothing in return. And really, that's what I want to do. And you can do the same. You absolutely can do the same. Maybe you're not in the place where you can do a podcast, which they could hire you to help them with. And you
wink, wink.
Yep. And so they could hire you, or they could just do something that's valuable. So really, we were kind of talking about before we started recording this is, well, what could people do? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about this as I was driving into work today. Really, that answer, I think, is inside you. Mm. I think in your bones, what you can do, because when we all got into business, when we all got into a certain industry, it was because we had a passion for something. Mm. Let that passion come out of you in the capacity of wanting to bring value. And I think the way to do that is going to reveal itself to you. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's an email that's sent out once a quarter, once a month, once a week, and you're providing some sort of value. Maybe the value is, certain industries need to stay very up with the news, and changes in their industry happen all the time. Maybe you could record just with your cell phone, record yourself for a minute or two talking about the recent thing that they saw in the news. And bringing your opinion to it, your expert opinion to it. The thing is with providing value these days, there's so many great ways to do it. You've got a recording studio in your pocket.
Yeah. That's good.
Your phone is a recording studio, and it doesn't need to be high quality production. Right. And actually, there's been studies that people almost engage better, and are more likely to consume your product if it is a little bit less produced, because they're like, hey, I can empathize, or they empathize with me, and I can kind of relate to them. It's authentic. It's authentic. Yeah. Absolutely, it's authentic. So really, the goal is, how can you nurture relationships, and how can you get rid of your crappy newsletter, because nobody wants to read it. I promise.
So good. I love it. And I suppose too, Kurt, like if people wanted to clarify their marketing, well, what could my newsletter become? Or how should my website invite people in? Where should I put the button? What should I say on the website page? Right. This is what you guys do, right?
Right. Definitely on a website capacity. We help, really what you need to think about is whatever transition you're asking people to come into. So maybe it's an email, maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a video recording, maybe it's a Facebook post. When they're ready to make that transition to your product, it's usually going to be a link to your website. Yeah. And that narrative, or that story loop, or that open story loop, needs to be closed once they land on your website. So that's where we are really good at closing that story loop for you. Right. And continuing that same narrative from your Facebook post to your website, or from your email to your website. Yeah. That's where we kind of shine. But I think the thing that I wanted to kind of touch on this, the thing that people need to kind of recognize as far as who can I talk to? Yeah. Again, I want to key in on the fact that it's not everybody. You don't need to talk to everybody. Yeah. We mentioned Seth Godin, And he talks about tribes. There's a great book called Tribes.
Mhm.
And he says humans are wired to unite and form tribes. Seth Godin defines a tribe as any group of people, large or small, who are connected to one another, a leader, an idea. They're looking for someone who has a solution to their problem. People are looking for a leader or looking for a guide that has a solution to their problem. And that's going to be your tribe. That's the people you can talk to. And the conversation will be very natural when you do that.
Yeah. Side note, I just know like just knowing what to say gets easier when you know who your tribe is. Like if you're trying to speak to everybody, it's really hard to know what can I say that's valuable to all these diverse groups of people. But when you know that your tribe is trying to fix their website, they're trying to level up their game on their websites, then you creating, email communications about websites and how to do that gets a lot easier, right? Versus, or whatever it is that you sell, listening to this.
Whatever your customer, whatever tribe that is. Yeah. I think you're right. It is a very simple conversation when you're having it with the people who get you and you get them. Yeah. I think that's the big takeaway I hope today that people remember is you don't have to talk to everybody. Your message is not for everybody. Just because you're going to start this process and you're going to get less opens on your emails, but I bet you'll get more conversions. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Yep. If I send out 1,000 emails and get 1 conversion, or I send out 200 emails and get 15 conversions, I mean, that's easy math. Yeah. Yep. So good. If people, Kurt, want to take you up on helping them clarify their website, clarify their messaging, where can they go? Yeah. So you can go to clarifymywebsite.com and schedule a time to just have a conversation. I had a conversation just the other day with somebody who went through that path. And we sat for about an hour and a half and talked about how to bring clarity to something that she's bringing into the marketplace in the medical community, which is very difficult because it's a very closed group. The medical community doesn't want new ideas a lot of times because it's very, very scary for people to try to commit or be open to new ideas. And so we sat for an hour and a half and just talked about how could we do this? I mean, she hasn't even signed a contract yet. She was excited, and I hope she does sign a contract. But that's really what gets me motivated and gets me up in the morning is being able to talk with people about solving their problem. And a lot of times, people's problem is, what we work with, people's problem is they're bringing clarity to their messaging, people will listen. So good. And I think what's cool about that process with you is once that happens inside the website, that easily transitions into their email nurturing and anything that you're doing. Yeah, we tell people all the time that the process that we go through to clarify your messaging for your website is the same exercise mentally that you need to go through for creating email or creating podcast or creating a Facebook post, creating a PowerPoint presentation. It's all the same stuff. It's all the same message. Yeah, that's why I love that. So that's why it's so valuable, gang, that when you start to clarify your message, which is what Kurt does with you, now you could start to act, whether you're writing the email or somebody else is writing the email, it doesn't matter because now you have the brand script. Now you know what you're saying and who you're saying it to, and that makes everything easier. So if you're looking for more ROI in your nurture sequence, more ROI from your emails, I think a great place to start is with what Kurt just said. Like go to clarifymywebsite.com, schedule time with Kurt to clarify what's going on and watch the ROI happen. Yeah. And we're also, the Human Side of Marketing is now available on your podcast. Hey, cool. So we've recorded 15 shows now, I think, once this one under our belt. So you can go to Google Play or the Apple iTunes and search either the Human Side of Marketing or Well-Dressed Walrus. Nice. And snag that so you can stick it in your ear while you're driving down the road and stuck in traffic. So good. I love it. Well, Kurt, this has been a great show. I think it's an important message for people. Thanks for thinking of it and bringing it because I think, I know from my own sanity, I want my inbox to be full of more value and not so much crap. So thank you for helping us kill the crap and level up the value. So. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's lead with a little kill your newsletter audio. Ready? Here we go.
All right, man. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care.